mission in rural areas, and in the increasingly challenging mission field of the cities of the world, such as Vancouver. Coming up next. Hello and welcome to today's program, coming to you from the beautiful city of Vancouver in Canada. Vancouver is a city of many beautiful parks. It has wonderful waterfront. It has people from all over the world settling here, very diverse cultures. It's also a tremendous mission field with many secular people, many people who have never even heard the name of Jesus. And we'll be talking with Pastor Kumar Dixit about an exciting plan in 2016 to reach out in holistic ministry to the people of this city. On today's program, we'll also be talking about 13 Sabbath Offerings. These are offerings that go to support special mission projects around the world. And we'll visit one of those projects in Uruguay, a center of influence right in the heart of the capital city. But first up, let's see your mission offerings at work in the city of Manaus in Brazil.
Brazil is the largest country in South America, with great ethnic diversity and modern cities with populations in the millions. Cities such as Sao Paulo, the third largest in the world, continue to grow, stretching its limits. Much of Brazil, however, is less developed and less affluent than in the cities. This is especially true of the Amazon in the northwest region of Brazil. Here, tribes and other unreached people groups have lived along the river and in the Amazon jungle for centuries. In this remote area of the country, the Seventh-day Adventist Church has established many types of outreach programs to connect with locals and bless their lives. One such institution is the Agro-Industrial Adventist School, or EI, as it's more commonly known. In recent years, EI has undergone a transformation and has become well known in the community. Only students willing to abide by the school's strong Adventist values, including spiritual, lifestyle, social, and academic standards, are accepted. As a result, enrollment at the academy has skyrocketed, growing from 100 to more than 400 students in just 3 years. Hubert studies at EI. Thanks to this school, his life turned 180 degrees. Hubert faced some serious challenges and nearly had to leave EI because of his poor behavior.
We'd spend the night awake, causing trouble, playing pranks on dormitory students, slamming the doors to keep people awake. We'd turn over trash cans and give the dean a hard time. At school, I used to cheat. I didn't like studying at all.
At the end of the year, Hubert did not reach the average grade he needed. But as the academic committee looked over deficient students, they voted to give him a chance. And the school leadership pleaded with him to accept Jesus so his life would be turned around.
The school board was separating the wheat from the tares, and I was a tare. But thanks to God, I passed as wheat. I remember that at the time, I decided to pray and ask God that if I passed, I would turn around and give Him my life.
Hubert accepted the challenge to find Christ. He began to fill his time with reading, studying, and teaching others about the God he was discovering. He repaired mistakes he made and helped others overcome challenges similar to the ones he once faced. Today, Hubert takes active part in meeting the needs of 7 church plants. These churches have been started by EI students over the years. On Sabbaths, the students split up and travel to different villages where they have a chance to sing, preach, and encourage others with their faith. The local villagers appreciate this ministry very much. The students at EI are happy with the opportunity to establish and maintain new churches, but they also hope to one day have a church of their own. Currently, they worship in a hall used for school activities, but their hearts long for a church sanctuary set aside for time with God and where they can invite friends from the community. This quarter, your 13th Sabbath Offering will help build a chapel for the avid church planters in EI. Please pray for this new building and for the many mission activities undertaken at this Adventist school. Thank you for supporting mission offerings and projects like EI's church.
My guest is Pastor Kumar Dixit, who is the senior pastor of the Oak Ridge Seventh-day Adventist Church in Vancouver, and he's also the ministerial secretary for the conference. Kumar, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, you have a button here that says, Ask me about Let's Move Vancouver. I want to ask you about Let's Move Vancouver.
Let's Move Vancouver is a new initiative that we're doing in 2016.
Yep.
And all of the pastors and churches in the greater Vancouver area are committed to doing an entire year of evangelism to reach unchurched people in the city.
Now, when you say all of the churches and all of the pastors, that would be highly unusual, wouldn't it, to try to get every pastor and every church on board to a combined initiative? Is that possible?
Well, this is proof that this is only a miracle of God, to get all of the area churches, ethnic churches, pastors from different ideological backgrounds or theological backgrounds. Every one of them are committed to reaching unchurched people for Jesus. And so we've been able to put away our differences and say, okay, we're going to focus on one thing, and that is reaching people, lost people for Jesus.
Fantastic. So what's the plan? What's going to happen in 2016?
Well, the plan is this. We are committed to doing an entire year of evangelism. So instead of doing a 10-night series or a 21-night reaping series, we're going to do over 150 programs throughout the entire year. So every church is going to choose about 10 to 12 great outreach programs, evangelistic meetings that they're used to doing, and it's all going to be packaged under Let's Move Vancouver. Let'sMoveVancouver.com is going to be a way that anybody in the city is going to be able to hear about it and see it. And then we're going to invite people to come to outreach activities, Bible studies, service opportunities, whatever people are interested in doing, it's going to be under the umbrella of Let's Move.
So it's coordinated, it's focused, it's doing it together. What's different about this approach? I mean, every church has its own evangelistic programs. What's different about this?
Gary, people in Vancouver are actually very antagonistic towards Christians. They do not like Christians at all. And so if we were to say, we want you to come to a Revelation series about Jesus, first of all, they don't even know who Jesus is, so Revelation is not even relevant to them. But the one common denominator that the Seventh-day Adventist Church has with the city of Vancouver is our health message. Vancouver is one of the healthiest cities in the world. I like to call them the granola crowd. They eat very healthy, they love going on hikes, they love doing exercise. And so Let's Move Vancouver is really based on getting people physically moving as well as moving them towards the cross. And so that idea of getting people based on the health message, that's really what we're going to be focusing on during 2016.
So what sort of health message programming will there be?
Oh man, there's going to be so many things. In fact, in the spring of 2016, we're going to be having a huge health expo. And we're hoping to have about 7,000 to 10,000 people come to the Health Expo. And we're going to be sharing lifestyle messages, relationship issues, exercise, stretching, the whole gamut on healthy living based on what Ellen G. White says about if you focus on health ministries, people will come to know Jesus Christ.
What is your local church, Oak Ridge, planning for next year?
Oh man, we are so
Everything.
super pumped. Yeah, we're planning small group ministries. We're in fact just starting a exercise program for seniors. There's quite a bit of seniors that are living in our local community. We're going to be reaching young adults or youth who are at risk and having table tennis matches and reaching them. We're also going to be doing a lot of outdoors activities. But really what we really want to focus on is also biblical teaching. And so the way that we're going to do that is based on answering important questions. For example, a lot of marriages are in trouble. And so we're going to be doing teaching series on marriages and finances, offering financial seminars, as well as helping people have relevant help in their life.
Kumar, you've had many years as a local church pastor. How do you involve church members in ministry? I mean, I don't know, in your church, is it just a few who are involved? How do you get people involved?
I usually tell people, I say, I want you to raise your right hand. Go ahead and raise your right hand. And I say, Gary, I now deputize you to do ministry on behalf of the church. Okay. And it's that simple. The most important thing is to get people into ministry as quick as possible. Don't wait for the end of the year when nominating committee rolls around. As soon as people are starting to come in and be involved in your church, you want to get them involved in serving ministry, because that's part of discipleship for them to actually start serving and getting to know who Jesus is. So I really, really encourage people to start serving in order for them to understand what the message and the mission of the church is.
Yeah, wonderful. Now, if people want to find out more information about Let's Move Vancouver, how do they do that?
Well, they can go to letsmovevancouver.com, and on that page will be more information about what the entire year is about. And if they want to donate to this evangelistic cause, they can always just contact the British Columbia Conference of Seventh-day Adventists and get in touch with them.
What's your greatest hope that will result from this initiative?
Our greatest hope is for people to know Jesus Christ. I believe that Jesus is coming so soon. In fact, I'm hoping that Jesus is going to be here within the next year. And I want to see more people come to know Jesus Christ. And so our hope for Let's Move Vancouver is to have 500 baptisms on top of what we normally have, and to sow 5,000 seeds. You know, people aren't coming to know Jesus in a 21-night series like they did 50 years ago. But our hope and goal is that the seeds will be planted, and then over the years after 2016, we're going to see hundreds of more baptisms and lost people who now know the love of Jesus.
Kumar, just tell me quickly, have you any doubts or any fears about this coming year?
I have absolutely no fears, and let me tell you why. Our budget is $1.6 million, and guess how much money we've raised so far?
$500,000?
$125,000.
Okay, you're well on the way.
Okay, so I have a lot to go, right? Not just budget, but volunteers, get churches excited. And I have one verse that keeps me going, and that is, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understandings, but acknowledge Him, and He will lead your paths. I'm not doing it for me. I'm not trying to get all the credit. I'm doing it for Jesus. And if Jesus is going to bless it, then it's His business to bless this ministry.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for sharing, Kumar. Appreciate it very much.
So much.
And we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Vancouver. Next up, we travel to the country of Myanmar, where Rick Kajira visits a center of influence in the capital city, Yangon. Rick?
Thank you. We're here in Yangon, Myanmar, and I'm in a brand new center of influence. And with me is Dr. Thuy Le, who is a medical doctor here, and you are instrumental in getting this center set up here. Tell us a little bit about what are you doing here in this center?
All right. We call it New Start Lifestyle Center, and then we base on the New Start principles that we want to promote and prevent diseases, especially the lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, obesity, that kind of lifestyle diseases. So because in Yangon, I believe the prevalence and incidence of these lifestyle diseases are increasing because the lifestyle in Yangon, in Myanmar, it's like imitate to the Western lifestyle. So these are the burden that I saw in Myanmar, so that this lifestyle center will prevent or promote, prevent the disease and then promote the health of the community around.
So these lifestyle diseases, as we call them, like diabetes, hypertension, things like that, because people are living in the big cities, their lifestyle has changed.
Sure.
They drive cars, they eat more, and so they're affected more by these diseases. And so this is a new center. How long has the center been here?
Okay, this was opened just yesterday.
Yesterday?
Officially. Okay. Yeah, but we have been running this center with a low profile basis within the church community is 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you talk about some of these lifestyle diseases, What are the things that you're doing or teaching to help people learn how to deal with them? I know one thing we have right here is some exercise machines, but can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. As I said you before, we are based on the New Start principle. So we focus on the New Start things. So for nutrition, we encourage them to eat more vegetables and fruits.
So nutrition.
Yeah, nutrition, exercise, exercise.
Right.
And then water, drink a lot of water. Yeah, and exposed to the sunlight for a bit.
Sunshine.
And then tea is the temperance. So we let them to avoid the harmful things, and then we do to follow the things that is good moderately. So this is temperance.
So temperance. So that is things like stopping.
They have to avoid the coffee, alcohol, smoking.
Alcohol and smoking.
Yes.
So do you help them stop smoking if they have a problem? Or?
Yes, we have a breathe-free smoking cessation center.
A breathe-free smoking cessation center.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay. So temperance and then
fresh air. Fresh air.
Air.
Fresh
air.
Air. So fresh air. We let them do the deep breathing exercise daily, and then we encourage them to we educate them to get a fresh air, how they can get the fresh air, through ventilation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and proper rest.
Proper rest.
Proper rest that include everything, and daily break, and also the sleep. How they can get the sound sleep, and then weekly rest, and the annual rest. So we encourage them to follow these rest principles.
So I know some of the things you're doing is we had some soy milk.
Yeah.
So what other things are you doing, like soy milk? What else are you doing?
Yeah. We encourage to produce our own food, like a soy milk, and then we order some brown rice, and also brown bread.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, even though we cannot produce the organic food yet, we do to collect things that are organically grown. Yeah, the fruits and vegetables, we bought it.
Okay. Now, you only opened yesterday, but are you hearing from people that there's an interest in the center yet?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So what are they saying?
Especially yesterday program, we saw people coming, especially the middle class and high class. So they know about health. They are more aware of the health. So they want to know how to prevent the disease, how to get well soon. So that they are educated. This area, right. People living around are educated. So they are very interested to our program.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
If people around the world could pray for something for this center, what would you ask them to pray for?
Yes, please. I would like to request to pray for this center, especially we are just started. So we need to develop things to be neat and tidy and to extend the program so that it will become a center of influence, so that people will see that our program will influence them, and so that we can influence them, and then through this center of influence, we get to know people more, and then we can share the love of God more.
Now, you have some dreams for the future for this place. What are your hopes and dreams for this place?
Yeah, we have a plot of land beside this area. We are planning to set up a food store and a physiotherapy department and vegetarian restaurant. Okay. Because vegetarian restaurant, we have the Chinese vegetarian restaurant here, but they are not healthy, very oily, and they use a lot of MSG. So we want a really healthy vegetarian restaurant.
So when you open the vegetarian restaurant, let me know. I have to come back.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. Please come. Welcome.
Well, it's really wonderful to see what you're doing here. I know this city has grown tremendously, and like cities all over the world, centers of influence can make a tremendous impact. Dr. Twele, thank you very much for joining us, And back to you.
Next up, we travel to the capital city of Uruguay, where a center of influence works closely with a radio station.
Located in South America, Uruguay has one of the largest urban populations on the planet, with more than 75% of Uruguayans living in cities. When it comes to religion, Uruguay is widely considered the most secular nation in the region. Yet people in Uruguay enjoy a stable government and the lowest level of crime in South America, making this nation a bit of heaven on earth. After many years of decline, the Adventist Church in Uruguay is experiencing sizable growth thanks to church planting, centers of influence, and a local radio station that broadcasts over a large portion of the country. The Nuevo Tiempo radio station at 101.3 FM plays a major outreach role in the secular country of Uruguay. This station is well known and respected for providing outstanding programming in the areas of health and wellness, marriage and family, biblical study, and practical Christianity. Throughout this country, the Nuevo Tiempo brand is visible at every Seventh-day Adventist church and center of influence through large signs featuring the radio station's name and logo. This connection between the local Adventist churches and the radio station has made a positive impact on church attendance, baptisms, and retention. As listeners hear the beautiful music and thoughtful devotionals, they're invited to contact the radio station for Bible studies and a personal follow-up. For Matthias Vigil, the personal touch is an essential part of serving people and making friends. Matthias was recently baptized and is already making plans to become a pastor. In the meantime, he manages a center of influence on a busy street in Montevideo. This facility, like other centers in the city, is known as a Nuevo Tiempo Center of Influence, a center that supports and complements the radio work. Here, listeners find a place to learn more about the topics they hear on the radio, and the atmosphere is welcoming and friendly. The center offers a wide variety of free courses like stress management tutoring, music lessons, health and wellness seminars, Bible studies, or simply a caring ear to listen.
I believe there is a place for everything. The church has an important role to nourish people who come near the church family. But there are people who see a simple sign that says church and they would never come close. Nonetheless, this group also has needs, and we ought to reach them with the hope of salvation. For this group of people, a center of influence like this is perfect. It's perfect to get near those who have a prejudice against religion, people who shun ceremony and a rigid structure. So we seek to meet needs, to provide them the things that interest them. They become our friends and we can show them the love of God.
Para también hacer amistad con ellos y poder mostrar el amor de Dios.
There are countless stories of people who found hope and Jesus because of this center of influence. Now it's common to arrive and find people studying the Bible or receiving counseling. Tonight, friends of this center are learning to speak Portuguese. Uruguay borders the southern part of Brazil, a Portuguese-speaking nation, making this a popular class and giving the perfect opportunity to meet people who might never come near a traditional church. Some of the people tonight are already studying the Bible, and now they are making positive connections with new visitors. The potential of this center is simply unmeasurable.
I believe it aligns with the plans of God to establish centers of influence. Ellen G. White speaks clearly on this topic, saying that it is important to reach the people who would not step into a church. Centers of influence are the answer to this need. They connect people with God.
Part of your 13th Sabbath offering this quarter will help build and operate centers of influence and new churches in 2 densely populated areas of Montevideo. These locations have little or no Adventist presence. Please pray for the people of Montevideo. Also pray for missionaries like Matthias, who are engaging people in urban centers of our world. Thank you for supporting mission offerings and centers of influence like this in Montevideo.
Well, that's about it for today's program. I hope that you've been inspired and challenged by what you've seen and heard. From cities such as Vancouver through to more remote areas such as the school in the Amazon River, and also to centers of influence such as we've seen in Uruguay. People all around the world are sharing the light of God's love. And I want to thank you for your continuing support of mission around the world, through your prayers, through your personal involvement, and through your finances. Speaking of which, I'd like to send you this small, I guess it's called a money box. It's a 13th Sabbath mission offering money box. You can use this in Sabbath schools, you can use it in your home to teach your children the importance of supporting mission. Just, there's a hole in the top here and you just put your coins in or your dollars in here, whatever you have, and collect the money that will support mission around the world. Well, for Mission 360, I'm Gary Krause, and I hope you can join me next time right here on this program.